Hey there, guys. It's Ashley, Double A Farm. Well, as y'all know, I have been in the market for a new bush hog. Been looking at bush hogs. Some of my dealer videos that I've done. I was out looking for bush hogs. That's what I was out doing, and ended up filming a dealer video. Looked at John Deere, looked at Land Pride bush hog. I think that one was an Athens bush hog. Got just several brands that I was looking for in between an 8-foot, a 10-foot. And really was just back and forth, getting prices here and there, just trying to figure out what I was going to do. So I finally decided on the bush hog, what I was going to do with it. And I'm going to turn y'all around and let y'all see what I have for you. And here it is. Certainly ain't a new one. If y'all remember, this is the Pittsburgh. You can barely see it right there on the side. Taylor Pittsburgh 290 bush hog, 10 foot. I had this down here. I think I did a video moving it here not too long ago. I moved it with the International 784, got it out of my way. Might have done some other video of lifting it up and putting it on some blocks and boards. But anyway, I finally made a decision. As y'all know, the FMC gave out on me. And I'll show you what gave out. I got the parts laying right here. This right here. This is the shaft that goes inside the PTO housing on the bush hog. It would be sitting right here in this area on that yellow FMC bush hog that I've been using forever on the channel. This is the shaft that goes inside of it. The outside here would be hooked to the spider, which is right there. That yellow spider sits right here on this outside, and that comes from the gearbox running over. And on top, sitting inside of that, is this gear here. And as you can tell, there are a ton of teeth broke off. I have no clue what happened with that. When I was bush hogging the last time with that FMC mower, it just started acting funny, sort of acting like it actually was locking up on me. I don't know. I didn't hit anything, and didn't hit a stump, didn't hit anything whatsoever. So I don't know what caused all these teeth to break off. And that's what I found whenever I took the cover off of that PTO gearbox. Inside, that is what I found, was that. Cannot find that part. The guy that I've been dealing with the FMC mower out of Alabama, I contacted him, and he actually sent me a new shaft. It was a 6-spline shaft. This portion was 6-spline, but that ain't what I needed. So I ended up sending it back to him, and he could never find this part at all. So I said, well, what am I gonna do? And then the old brain started working. And when the old brain started working, I went to Agri Supply and bought a new gearbox. It was actually cheaper for me to buy this gearbox from Agri Supply. It cost, I believe, $279.99. I believe that's how much it is. $279.99, I believe. I think a 6-spline one's $259, if I'm not wrong. But anyway, and I said, heck, I'll just buy a new gearbox and put on that FMC mower. So that's what I did. Went and bought the gearbox to put on it. It was actually cheaper than the new shaft that the guy had sent me. He sent me a shaft and a new spider portion, which was right here. Had to have the 6-spline portion of that. That all was like $350 or something like that. So it was cheaper for me to buy a new gearbox. And so I did that. And whenever I went to start taking the pieces off, the FMC does not have stump jumpers. Of course, that black piece right there is a stump jumper. It does not have stump jumpers. It just has a bar underneath it that the blades hook to. Not a stump jumper, just a regular rectangle square bar. It's about 1 inch thick under that mower. So when I went to take it off, it actually had a collar up in surrounding the shaft coming out, the shaft portion coming out of that PTO gearbox on the FMC mower. And so I had to have a puller, a wheel puller to pull that off. So I brought a wheel puller home from school and started to try to get it off. It wouldn't budge whatsoever. And it would take heat to get it off. And I just, I've got a little small oxyacetylene setup that I could use to heat with, but it would take me forever to do that. So I said, well, I'm gonna pull the Pittsburgh out and see what I can do with it. Since I got a new gearbox, I've got the spider that goes on it. I can see what will happen with that. So that's what I did. Started looking at the parts. I brought this home, swapped out the FMC. I brought this down here, started looking, and saw that, you know, should be okay. Biggest things, I've got this shaft here is still intact. So, and I can reuse my spider gear pieces there. I've got to switch it out because the shaft, this is actually, I believe, 27 splines, whereas this is a 20 spline. So I've switched these out here. I can switch those out. Of course, bought a stump jumper. Ag Supply sells the stump jumper, so I was able to get the stump jumper there. These are the old blades off of this side here, so I got those off. Did take a little heat to heat those bolts up, which ain't a problem with my little tanks. That works well, but trying to heat up, put as much heat as I would have needed to get that other thing off, and would have never happened. So I got the blades off, went to Ag Supply when I was getting the other stuff, and they had 2 blades. Of course, this don't have the multi-direction blade. It's got the directional blade. So they had these are clockwise blades in store. So I was able to get those, but they did not have the counterclockwise blades. So, and to wait on those, it would be June of 2024. So I said, oh goodness. So I was able, hopefully, to find them online. I got 2 ordered online, and hopefully they'll be in by the end of the week. So I got that. I was able to get 4 of the new blade bolts. There's the old ones there. So I was able to get those blade bolts, and I'm pretty sure these blades go on this one, so I'll be able to put that one back together. A new hose. I'm gonna pull the old hose that is on the FMC. It's not an old hose, it's a pretty new hose. I'm gonna pull it off and put it on here. This cylinder actually takes 2 hoses. So whereas the FMC cylinder only took 1, this one does take 2. So I'm gonna pull the hose off of the FMC mower and put it on this one, and put the new hose on this one as well. And I'll have that. These old hoses were in dire shape. There's a piece of that one, and then this is the other one that was there, and they were in dire straits. So I was able to get those. Ain't gonna have, you know, less than $1,000 in it. Well, maybe almost close to $1,000 will be what I'll have in this mower if everything works out, and I'm praying to the good Lord that it does work out that way. So, but yeah, we're gonna put this together and see what we can come up with. Here I've got the hitch portion is on the FMC. So I'll pull the hitch portion off, and I may buy me a new jack, or I might just pull the jack off of the FMC mower. It's got 2 spots for a jack, but this one here is broken. You can see the crack right there. So this one's in pretty good shape, so I'll put it on that side. So, and I did have to put 2 new bolts. I had those already, so I put 2 new bolts in those arms there, the stabilizer arms that go back to the wheels. So gearboxes are free. I'll check the oil and all in those, and hopefully everything's gonna work out with this, and it's gonna be a true good working 10-foot bush hog. That's what we're hoping for and praying for, is that everything works out with this and we can get it back together. And I've only got one issue with the deck, and that's right here. And one day I've got a property I have to cut in town, and when I go to do that, all I'm gonna do is go cut the property. And once I get done cutting the property, I'm gonna probably just take and go on up a couple more miles and take it to school, drop it off at school, and beat that out, put me a piece of metal over it, weld it, and that'll be fixed. And that's pretty much the only problem really with this whole mower deck. So it's in really, really good condition. So like I said, hoping and praying that everything's gonna work out with this. Pretty much that was an original plan, to do a lot of that. And I said, no, I'm just gonna do what I can with the FMC. And but when the FMC didn't work out, it was back to the drawing board with this. So, and like I said, I think it's gonna work out. As long as those other 2 blades come in, I should be a-okay with it. So get y'all some footage of me working on it, putting these parts on, and hopefully final product to be putting this in the field and doing some bush hogging with it. So y'all hold on tight. Just took a guess on these. I had no clue how long of bolts to get. So I just run by the hardware store. Just guessed on size. I think these are 2.5 inches, 3/4 inch bolts. So my guesstimation was pretty good, I'd have to say, luckily. So I'll try and do this by myself, but I don't know if it's gonna be if I'm gonna be successful in that or not.